Do you struggle when it comes to networking? Well, today I want to share with you how to make networking magical. We are diving into 5 secrets to make your networking magical and slay the follow-up game when it comes to networking. Hi, my name is Sandi Glandt. I'm a high-performance productivity coach, wife, mama to 2 very busy boys, as well as your Mrs. International 2022 TV host, podcast host, and I'm here today. I am back after a 2-week break, you guys. Gosh, I've been all over the globe. It feels like hubby and I were in Mexico. We were at a wedding. And then, man, for the past 2-3 weeks, have been speaking at events. I was speaking up in Tampa at the Boss Talks event. That was so amazing. I was in New Jersey. I was in PA. I was at the New Jersey, New York International pageants. What else? Oh, I spoke at Miss Esquire here in Fort Lauderdale. There has just been so many amazing things going on. And one of the biggest kind of common threads that has been coming up is networking and the power and the magic that come with networking. If you do it right? Because I have seen people go to networking events and they either, number 1, they hate it, or number 2, they go and they just don't know how to do it. There really is like a way, a craft to networking and showing up and even following up when it comes to the networking game. So I'm going to share with you some of my best practices when it comes to networking so you can make it magical, so you can enjoy it. Because so many people that I talk to either dread networking. Maybe this is you. You might fall into one of 2 categories. You dread networking, number 1. And then number 2, it is over and it ends and you're like, but what happened? Like, what just happened? Did I meet the people that I wanted to meet? Did I even accomplish what I wanted to when I got to that event? Maybe you don't even know that you're supposed to go in with a goal when it comes to networking. So I'm going to break it all down today and I'm going to share with you how to truly make networking magical. So if you are ready for this content, I want to make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's kind of like the tip jar. It's like a little thank you and it keeps us connected. And it shows me that you also want more of this content. I would be so grateful if you just hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. And I'm so grateful as always for you and for this community that we're building. So let's get into the 5 secrets to making networking magical. Okay. So secret number 1 is get in the room. Like the rooms that you want to get into, you have to research. You have to identify where you want to be. I hope that you're just not walking into any networking event. Like you should already know when you go in that room exactly why you're there, exactly what the goal is, who you want to connect with. Be able to go in with a purpose and connect with like-minded individuals that you already know ahead of time you want to connect or maybe even collaborate with. I think a lot of times people go into networking events and they're just there and they show up and they're like, I'm here and that's it. You guys, there is a strategy behind making networking magical. And when you leave, you left having achieve the goal that you went in there with. So number 1, you got to get in the room, but do your research. Do your research on who's going to be there. Do your research on why you want to get in that room, who you want to connect with. And when you do this, you go in with a purpose. You go in with a goal. So you're not just there to take some cute Instagram photos. You're there to actually go and achieve something. It's like anything else. I mean, if you're taking time out of your busy workday, time away from your kids, there should be a goal. There should be a purpose to get in that room and achieve something. It could be a connection. It could be you connecting somebody, but you got to know why you're getting in that room. And even before that, you got to know which rooms you're going to and you want to get into. So that's the first step is get into the room, but do the research to know which rooms you want to get into and why. Secret number 2 may come as a shock to some of you, but secret number 2 is to be interested, not interesting. So this is a little hack that I wanted to share with you. So many people that I talk to get nervous when it comes to networking, and they kind of scare themselves out of networking or putting themselves out there or even making those connections because they're so nervous about what they're going to say or how they're going to show up. So a little trick that I want to share with you is to be interested and don't worry about being interesting. So the person that you're talking to, this new contact that you have, this new person that you met at this event for the room that you got into after you've done all this research, don't worry about talking so much about yourself. Ask really good questions to the people that are in the room. Ask them about who they are. Ask them about how you can support them. Once you know a little bit about who they are and what they're passionate about, it's a really good idea to ask them how you can support them, because everybody has something they're working on. Everybody has their own passions, their own projects, their own goals. And when you can kind of just take it off of yourself and reverse it and put it on someone else and say, hey, like, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're showing up for? What are you interested in? How can I support you? It becomes a really fun dynamic. And then again, it takes that pressure off of you. So anytime I get on a stage, you can also use this for when you speak on stages. You don't have to worry about exactly the thing that you are going to say and show up. Of course, you want to have an outline. You're going to know what you want to say, but release it and just know that whatever it is that you are there to say and that message that you're there to deliver is for somebody else. So it just takes the pressure off. And the same thing with networking. The more interested you can be in somebody else versus let me be the most interesting person in the room, you're going to make the right connections. You're going to connect on a level that allows you to really find out what people are doing and how you can support them. And then it makes the magic really come into the networking because you get to take it off of yourself and you don't have to have that pressure. So I want you to think about this the next time you go to a networking event and just completely drop the whole idea of being interesting because you don't have to worry about that. Go in knowing that you're going to be interested in the person that you're talking to and the people that you're meeting and the actual event itself and how you can support or collaborate or show up than being the most interesting person in the room. Secret number 3 on how to make networking magical. We talked about this. I hinted at this in the beginning is go in with a goal. Now, doesn't matter what kind of event this is. It could be a networking event. It could be you're going to watch a speaker. Again, it could even be a wedding. Like there's so many opportunities that, you go to a wedding, or in my case, I was at the New York pageant, or I went with some friends. You guys saw this on my social to this Vizcaya event. And it was like this ladies luncheon event, right? Like go in with a goal. What is the goal of that event? And it doesn't matter the kind of networking event that it is. If you're in a room with people that you don't know, there should be a goal there. And I don't know what it is for you, but my goal is to go meet with people, to connect with them, to find out what it is that they're doing. Again, being interested to see how I can support. You guys know that my word of the year is connection. And with that being my word of the year, I'm not so worried about how like somebody else can support me or like what they ask can be on my end. I want to know how I can support someone else. Maybe it's making a connection. Like the really cool thing is, as you know, I hosted an event, I guess it was in February. So it was last month and I had 20 women and it was a luncheon where we just all came together to share what it is that we each individually did and what you need help with. And in a room like that, it's really cool because you open up, you're vulnerable. It's very rare, especially for women, to ask for something that we need help with. So when you hear all of these very just like accomplished and women that are doing amazing things in your community, it's easy to say, hey, I heard you say you needed help with this connection, or I heard you needed to be introduced to this person. A girlfriend of mine who you all, I'm sure, are familiar with, Melissa Wagi, she runs Epic Talks here in South Florida. There was a woman who was going to go to that event, but she was out of town for Super Bowl the weekend that I hosted the event. I knew she wanted wanted a certain speaker for her event. And I said, I'm going to connect you with this person. However, that woman wasn't in the room. I connected with them. And like 3 weeks later, that woman was on Melitza's Epic Talk stage. So sometimes it might not even be the women in the room that are just doing that connecting. It might be someone that woman knows that she can connect another woman with, or you with, or another person. But hand in hand with, being interested, always think about how you can come from a place of connection, or how you can come from a place of service. Because number one, again, it takes that pressure off of you to be interesting or feel like you have to perform. And then when you go in with a goal, and if the goal is coming from a place of service or to help make connections or to connect some dots, it becomes really fun, because now you're not going in there with kind of like a needy, like I want this or I need this from these women or from these people. You're going in with the sole intention of coming from a place of service. And that is such a different energy than what can I get? Like I'm here to receive. I'm here to just take. Like everybody senses it. You can smell it from a mile away, and nobody wants those people at networking events, because you just like smell it and you want to get away from it as fast as possible. So come from a place of service. And just from that, from the law of reciprocity, you helping other people, you're going to see it's naturally what the universe wants to do. You give and it gives back. So again, you're not doing that going in with that being the intention. But when you come from a place of service, it just makes it so much more fun. It makes it easy because you're helping to solve someone's problem, helping to connect some dots. It becomes really fun. So the next event that you go to, I want to make sure that you're coming from a place of service and you're also going in with a goal. Okay. If you haven't already, guys, I'm going to ask one more time to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, because every week I am bringing you systems, strategies, and support on how to slay your day, on how to work less hours and be more intentional with the things that are most important, which could be your family, your self-care, your business. I don't know what it is for you, but it's really important for me to be able to streamline, automate, delegate the things that I don't need to do, and be able to show up in all the other areas as wife and mom and self-care that are also just as important to me, if not more important, right? Like the systems and the automations and the delegations, like that is really important to have in my business. So I don't have to be doing all these things, and I get to show up and go to the soccer games and go on date nights with my hubby. So I hope that this podcast, that you tune in, you subscribe to the podcast, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you take these systems and strategies and you implement them into your day-to-day life, because it will truly allow you to streamline and structure what it is that you're doing so you can work less, have more time, have more money, and slay your day. The fourth secret to making networking magical is the follow-up. Now imagine you go to this event, you do your hair, you get your makeup done, you have your outfit, you go there with a goal, you make these amazing connections, and then it ends there. Ladies, that is not what we're going to be focusing on here. Right now, I want you to look at your calendar and pull out the next event that you're going to. I don't care if it's a wedding, a networking event, some kind of luncheon, or a mixer. And I want you to write these 3 key things down, because this is really, really important that you implement this in your follow-up. So number 1, you're going to follow up about what you spoke to that person about. You may have talked to them about their dog. You may have talked to them about their podcast, or what new like health routine they're on, or maybe their favorite restaurant. Whatever it is, you need to follow up about what you spoke with them at that event about. And the reason why you're going to do this is because I'm sure they're talking to, 5, 10, 20, or maybe hundreds of other people. You never know, depending on how big the event is. And the way that you're going to stick out and kind of jog the memory of like who you were, how you guys connected, what you spoke about, is by bringing that back up. So again, maybe you spoke about a favorite brunch or lunch place that you had. Maybe you spoke about a friend that you had in common. Maybe you talked about a podcast that you love, the Slay Your Day podcast. But whatever it is, follow up about the context of what you were talking about. This second part of the follow-up that is so important, that is a common thread among this podcast right now, is who can you connect that person to, or help them reach a goal that they mentioned. Maybe they said that they wanted to be connected with a certain person. Maybe they share with you some goals that they had for that month, or something that they were working on personally or professionally. Be the connector. connector. Be the person that helps to connect them to something positive towards a goal that they shared with you, or just something that they're working on. Maybe it's like something for their kids or something for their business or something for their self-care. Maybe they mentioned to you that they're like back with, killing them from the heels that they were wearing, and you recommend a really good massage therapist. Again, like, be the connector. Be the woman that comes from a place of service and helps that other woman reach a goal that they spoke about. This is something that people do not talk about when it comes to networking, because they're so focused on the actual event that they forget that there's an entire follow-up game that has to happen after the event is over. So how are you going to follow up? You have to become memorable. You have to like follow up and share the thing that you were talking about, but you also want to help them to connect the dots at something that you guys were talking about, some kind of goal, something that was in the conversation that you can provide value on. And the third piece of this follow up is stay connected. Stay connected with this person on social media. If you got their phone number, text them, right? Show interest on social media. You can like their content. You can comment on their content, share it. Like, if it's someone that you've met and you really do want to stay connected with this person and help to support them or come from a place of service with them and help to provide value, show up and show interest, right? Like, it sounds so simple, but a lot of times we get away from just the simplicity of what networking is meant to do. Networking is meant to build our communities. Networking is meant to bring us together to help solve problems. Like, I think about, like even in my neighborhood, we have like a women's networking WhatsApp chat. We have a neighborhood like Facebook group, and I will go in there for anything I need. I need a pool cleaner. I need a window washer. I need a plumber. I don't know. It doesn't matter what it is, a babysitter, a tutor, like anything. And literally within 5 minutes or less, I will have 5 referrals from the women that are in my neighborhood. This is what you get to do when it comes to networking. I'm actually going to I talked to Melissa Wagi about this, who runs Epic Talks. We're going to do an entire podcast together about how we kind of like tag team our networking events together, because anytime we go to a networking event together, and she actually spoke at the Building a Boss Summit. She was a panelist at the same event that I was the keynote speaker at. And anytime we go to an event together, it really is magical. And it's something that we have found this rhythm of how we support each other, sharing what she does, she shares what I do, and just like create an amazing kind of flow of how we network together. So if you're doing this on your own, these are the steps that you want to think about. You want to think about getting in the right rooms. You want to think about being interested versus interesting. You want to go in with a goal, and you want to follow up, right? If you're not following up, it's easy to forget who you spoke to. One of the ladies that I met at the Building a Boss Talks event, she was local here in town. And I was like, at the event, I said, "Oh my God, I love your dress. Like, that is something I would totally buy and wear." She's like, "Sandi, like, try it on. I'll let you wear it. We'll swap." She came over to my house. So shout out to Jenna. And I was like, "Pick out a few of my things. We'll swap. We'll do an exchange." I literally met her at that event. And now we're just like swapping out some wardrobe pieces together. And I'm like, this is something that, I didn't know her before the event, but she was so generous and kind to be like, "Hey, if you love this, like, I've worn it one time, by all means, like, take it, wear it, get some use out of it." And I told her, I said, "Come on over and you can like go through my closet." Again, like, you just never know who you're going to meet. You never know what relationships you're going to be able to build, the dots that you're able to connect for other people. So it's really powerful that you go in with these tools, because networking gets to be magical. It gets to be expansive. And no matter what you need in your life, it's going to come from other people, the referrals, the connections, the networking. So just know that like when you're doing this, the goal is to go in coming from a place of service. The goal is to go in knowing that you're there to help support or build or collaborate. Again, come from a place of service for someone else. So when you go in with that mindset, That's what makes the magic. That's what makes, the connections seem like they're on fire. It's not that you're going in as a different person. You're going in knowing that you're going in to make someone's life easier, better, more well connected, to help them connect their own dots. So that's where the magic gets to come from. Now, secret number 5 is going to wrap all of this up, and it's going to make so much sense for you now. So secret number 5 on how to make networking magical is make deep connections, not these surface level conversations where you're talking about the weather or the traffic. I'm talking about real conversations. Maybe it's about your business and the struggles that you're having, or the things that are working for you. Maybe you're talking about, I don't know, how your kids are sick and you got to the event late because you had to pick them up from school and take them home and then go to the event. Maybe you're talking about date nights that you do with your husband. Maybe you're even talking about some hacks that you learned for your own health, wellness, fitness journey, right? You have to go deeper than just surface level, because if you keep it at a surface level conversation, it's never going to go further. So think about some things that you can really dive deeper and get into finding common ground with someone about things that they're interested in. And sometimes when you find whatever that common ground is or that connection, that's when you get to be real and authentic and share things that have worked for you or don't work for you, because you've gone through it and you've also experienced that. So you can talk anything, family, business, hobbies, self-care. All of these are great, under the surface level topics to talk about, because when you're talking about traffic, the weather, just those kind of things, it's not interesting. We're not getting anywhere. I'm not helping you. You're not, it's not, nobody can help each other if we're talking about the weather or we're talking about the traffic. Let's get in and let me find how I can support you. Let me figure out how I can help you to connect dots. I love connecting. I love going to networking events. I love connecting women. I just have always been that person that really does enjoy, and I actually get energized by doing events and connecting people. I know that it can be scary for a lot of people who are maybe more introverted. Now, I do have to say, as much as I love networking and as much as I love connecting people, I do have to go home afterwards and recharge my batteries, because I feel like I give so much and I really come from a place of service that afterwards I'm man, I just need to sit on the couch and chill for a minute, because you feel the energy that's kind of been sucked out of you because you've given so much. So for me, I'm I go into a networking event. I really do love being that connector and showing up with high energy. But it just does take a lot out of me. So I do need to come home, decompress, and just get out of the dress, get out of the heels, and get into something comfortable. And I'm sure you ladies can resonate. If you resonate with this, let me know in the comments below, so I'm not the only one. Let me know, Sandi, yes, I love to network, or maybe you're scared of networking. Drop that below too. Either one is fine, because I do want to share that, a side note to this is that everyone is scared to get off their couch. Everyone is scared to get off of their couch and out of their comfort zone and meet people they've never met before. And you kind of have to get a little vulnerable to go and meet new people and just get out of that day-to-day comfort zone of your routine or whatever it is that you're doing. So just know that you're not the only one. People are also nervous. They're scared to talk about themselves. They're scared to show up to these events. So if you're someone who's more of an extrovert, just know that that is a gift. And if you're someone that's more of an introvert, just know you're not the only one, because most people, they are out of their comfort zone and they're not, used to going and talking or, getting up on a stage or sharing about themselves. I can't even begin to tell you how many events I go to and women or just anyone in the room, they're oh my gosh, what do I say? It's almost like you forget who you are because you have a microphone in your hand or you stand up to share about yourself. So again, take it off yourself and use it as an opportunity to help to connect dots, to come from a place of service, because that will take the pressure off of you and make it way less scary. The other thing that I want to share along with number 5 and making these deep connections is you got to get in the rooms like we talked about. And one of the ways that my ladies in my community are doing this is through the High Performance Accelerator Academy. So what we do is quarterly, we have in-person networking events that we do for our members. And then weekly, we have calls and, Zoom calls and topics that we share that are for business, that are for systems, that are for strategies, that help you get more visible, that help you with your marketing, that help you with all of the systems to help you run your business in a more effective and efficient way. So because you are a Slay Your Day podcast listener and here also on YouTube, I want to give you a very special code that's just for Women's History Month. I'm going to drop it in the show notes below, but it's sandraglandt.com/HPAA special for High Performance Accelerator Academy. So sandraglandt.com/HPAA special, and you will get a special code that is half price to come in, join the academy, join the sisterhood of women who are coming together, connecting, collaborating. Like the magic that happens in this group is off the charts. So if you want to learn the systems, the strategies, but you also want to network with some of the most incredible women in the world, by the way, not just South Florida, but in the world, you've got to get into this academy because this is where it's at. The speakers, the community, the topics that we dive into will be game changing. So you gotta, number one, get yourself in the room to make sure that you can get around the right people, get around the right information that are going to make yourself and your life so much easier, more streamlined, and actually enjoy the work that you do. Enjoy the processes and the systems and all the things because it does make your life easier. So again, that link is sandraglandt.com/HPAA special. I cannot wait to see you inside. I'm just going to recap these 5 secrets, these 5 hacks to making networking magical. So number 1, get in the room. Number 2, be interested, not interesting. Number 3, go in with a goal. Number 4, follow up is key. And what we talked about specifically was follow up about what you spoke about at the events. Who can you connect with that person, or how can you help them reach their goals? And number 3, stay connected through social, through text, through email. Make sure you're staying connected with that person. And number 5, go deep on the connections. Have real conversations, not just your surface level conversations. So that is today's podcast. I'm so excited for you guys to actually implement this. Comment below and let me know the next event that you're going to, where you're going to implement these 5 secrets, and let me know how it goes. I can't wait to hear from you. I'm also going to drop another video that's a follow-up video to this. So you're going to want to make sure that you check that out and you plan your schedule accordingly so you can have your entire schedule planned out for the year so you know what networking events you're going to, how you're expanding your business, how you're getting visible, and all the goodies that we're going to cover in this next video. So go check it out.